Hey guys, before we get started, I got some awesome news for you. I've got a brand new line of shirts, tank tops, and hoodies over on the Pixel Empire just in time for the season, which includes a sensational, hyper-realistic design of yours truly by fantasy and sci-fi artistic visionary Jack Kaiser. So if you'd like to get your hands on some of this awesome swag, head on over to the Pixel Empire by clicking the link in the description below, and be sure to use the code Goombah at checkout to get 10% off your purchase. But don't wait, because this design is only going to be available until the end of December. So if you want to help the channel as we push through the never-ending fight of demonetization, check out my humble shop. The more we can sell, the more merch we can make.
Hey everyone, Gaijin Goombah here, and welcome to another episode of Which Ninja, a series that looks at media's most popular shinobi to see which are good and which are bad.
And yes, today we're finally covering one of the most requested ninja in video games, Greninja from Pokemon X&Y.
Well, it's kind of about time, isn't it? I mean, he is in the intro after all.
Well, you'd be surprised at how close the last Patron poll was to decide the next topic, because it was an actual dead tie between Greninja and the Yiga clan from Breath of the Wild,
which you can actually catch as a culture shock over on the Game Theorist channel. But let's get back to the subject at hand here. Just how ninja is Greninja? I mean, on the surface he seems like a trope more than an inspiration to the real thing, but if there's anything I've learned from doing this series for 6 months now, it's to not judge a book by its cover. If Shredder from the Ninja Turtles can be a legit shinobi, who's to say that Genin Greninja isn't?
Well, proof is in the pudding, as the saying is misquoted. To really look into whether or not Greninja makes for a good ninja, we gotta look into the details and see for ourselves. Lucky for us, Pokemon only focuses on 3 simple factors when it comes to design: name, appearance, and moveset. This is actually really handy for us since there isn't a long, drawn-out character backstory on Pokemon. Just what they are, what they look like, and what they do.
So let's get started with the first of those 3, the name. Greninja's English name is simple enough, a hybridization of ninja and the French word for frog, Grenouille, which, considering X and Y took place in Poca, Paris, that makes sense. On the flip side though, Greninja's Japanese name of Gekkoga is a bit more specific to its cultural origin. It comes from the onomatopoeia gero, or ribbit, and the Koga Ryu ninja clan.
For those of you who missed the Yiga Culture Shock episode, the Koga clan were a strong rival to another one of Japan's great ninja clans, the Iga. They allied themselves with Oda Nobunaga during the Warring States period to essentially wipe out the rival Iga, but that's another story.
Either way, Greninja in name alone already packs some pretty detailed historical ninja references. But then you have his appearance. At first glance, Greninja looks like it's just got the regular ninja garb. Tabby looking toes with Hakama-like legs. But then we've got that tongue, which on the surface seems pretty goofy, right? But as ridiculous as it seems for Greninja to use its own tongue as a mask or a scarf, it's completely legit historically. Though ninjas used hoods to cover their heads and hair, they would hide their face with the Zukin. Plainly, a strip of cloth 30 centimeters wide and 2 meters long. Though we don't have the exact length of Greninja's tongue, we can ballpark it. Greninja stands at 4'11", almost 5 feet tall. Greninja's tongue, on the other hand, looks like it has about 1/3 of its body length in slack alone. Fully extended compared to its body, Greninja's tongue looks like it could be as long as 6 feet if not longer, which is 2 meters once converted. So good on you, Game Freak, for sneaking in that little detail. As far as the other character designs go, we've pretty much talked about them at length in other videos. Greninja's shiny form with its black base may seem like the more legit color, but don't believe this dirty lie. Dark blue is a heck of a lot harder to see in moonlight than black, which is why Real Ninja chose it and more earthy tones rather than pitch black. As for the frog motif, you can thank the Tale of the Gallant Jiraiya for the constant association of frogs and ninja.
But the real evidence of whether or not Greninja makes for an accurate ninja comes from the moveset. After all, the most important aspect of the ninja are their tools and techniques.
No lie, I recently picked up some new resource materials, and most of these books, like The Secret Traditions of the Shinobi by Anthony Cummings and Yoshie Minami, are almost nothing but tools and technique.
Some of Greninja's moves are pretty stock, like Pound, Growl, Lick, Bubble, and Hydro Pump. But the rest of the moveset? Good lord, it's like reading through a freaking field guide for ninjutsu. Even some of the more tropey abilities like Water Shuriken have a lot of cultural accuracy. Water Shuriken, or Mizu Shuriken, has 100% accuracy and a modest PP number of 20, but has a substantially weak power of 40. Not only that, but unless you're battle bonded, the attack might hit as many as 5 times, or as little as 2, resulting in some pretty weak average damage, and that's if you don't miss. But here's the thing, guys, shuriken were not exactly one-hit kill weapons. In fact, unless you hit an unarmored target in the heart, spine, or back of the head, the likelihood of actually killing your enemy with a shuriken was pretty slim. They were best used to confuse an enemy more than injure it. Sure, on occasion the blade would be tipped with poison or poo to further injure the target, but normally a shuriken was used as a way to hinder a pursuer with shock and pain rather than kill. So as much as it might suck in Pokemon, Water Shuriken is actually pretty historically accurate in terms of efficiency.
Not to mention that Water Shuriken has a +1 to priority, and that's a long-running theme with Greninja, attacking first and never missing. The moves Quick Attack, Night Slash, Shadow Sneak, and Feint Attack all have these factors, and they point to one thing that is absolutely critical for real ninja: a quick end to a fight. Ninja had to survive anything in order to be of any use as a spy or a thief. Thus, when an encounter happens, it had to end quickly. To quote the Grand Master of Bujinkan Ninjutsu, Masaki Hatsumi, in his book The Way of the Ninja's Secret Techniques, one never knows when a fight might start. That is why in Budo, one keeps prepared, so that should a fight arise, one can settle it as quickly as possible. In a dangerous situation, you act swiftly without any hesitation. That is the secret of winning. Now let's look at the description of some of Greninja's other attacks. Night Slash. The user slashes at the target the instant the opportunity arises. Critical hits land more easily. Quick Attack. The user lunges at the target at speed that makes it almost invisible. This move always goes first. Shadow Sneak. The user extends its shadow and attacks the target from behind. This move always goes first. Noticing a pattern here? These moves always go first, or at least they're described as doing such. This harkens back to Masaki's words about acting swiftly without hesitation, his secret to winning.
Another interestingly historically accurate move comes from a seemingly odd choice of attacks: Spikes, a ground move that covers the arena in spikes and damages Pokemon that switch in and out. This is actually not so unlike how Ninja utilized Makibishi Caltrops. See, most people think Caltrops were thrown behind to discourage pursuers from following, but this would rarely work as pursuers could just get out of the way while running. Instead, ninjas would spread them on the ground and remember their location in order to block certain walkways and have control of enter and exit points, thus damaging and hindering the would-be pursuer for trying to maneuver, which is exactly how Greninja uses it. What I kinda don't get is why Pokemon would naturally have these.
Well, that's another thing that the history books leave out about Ninja. Makibishi weren't always made of metal. In fact, 9 times out of 10 they were purely organic. The word Makibishi is a hybridized word rooted in bishi, or water chestnut, and maki, or to scatter. Now, water chestnuts, which were native to China, have oftentimes been used in various dishes, but Shinobi found a really interesting trick with these little veggies. When dried in the sun, they drastically hardened, and due to their biological formation, they would always have a pointy side up. Creating these biological caltrops were cheaper, easier to make, and far more expendable. Now, Pokemon aren't dumb. In fact, a vast majority of them have almost human-like cognitive thought. And when you consider so many of them are utilizing other natural resources like berries, wouldn't it be plausible for Pokemon to find alternate uses for those resources in a similar way?
Fair point. Moving on to another tricky ability at Greninja's disposal is Smokescreen, which drops an opponent's accuracy by 1 stage. However, unlike the show, in-game, the animation looks like it's a singular ball that's being tossed and smoke is exploding around the enemy. This is incredibly similar to the real-life smoke bomb known as the Torinoko. Weighing just 20 grams with a 50mm diameter, this little bomb contained not only gunpowder for smoke, but also for light and sound. And while the smoke would hamper vision, it was the flash and the bang that initially jolted the target and allowed the ninja to escape. But this was a getaway method, while in Pokemon it serves more as a distraction purpose for attack instead of fleeing. Well, Ninja would utilize smoke not just for escape, but also infiltration. Known as the Noroshi no Jutsu, or light smoke technique, Ninja would set smoke sources in various locations around their target and use it more as a cover to hide in, distracting their would-be pursuers and doing what thieving or damage they needed to do and then get the heck out. Similar to how Smokescreen makes for a great preliminary distraction before you start taking swings in Pokemon.
The next 2 moves to look at with Greninja's Arsenal, Double Team, and Substitute are actually better analyzed together than separate, because while in Pokemon they function very differently, within the world of real ninja, they come from the same basic jutsu, Bushin no Jutsu. Also known as Kage Bushin no Jutsu, which is what the Japanese version of Double Team is called, Bushin no Jutsu was theoretically executed in real life by doing one of two things: either moving so fast with a distracted target that they perceive more than one of you, or having multiple ninjas dressed similar to you acting similarly in thought. But there's also a variation to the Bushin no Jutsu called the Kawarimi no Jutsu, or strange character technique. And this is where substitute comes into play. Because similar to how a Pokemon would make a physical body double of itself to take hits, the ninja would create dummies made of wood, straw, or bamboo, dress them similar to their own clothing, and strategically place them so they take the hits instead of the real ninja.
This next move, though, I really don't know. While Mat Flip or Tatami Gaishi is almost exclusive to Greninja, throw being the exception, it's not really so much a ninja technique as it is a general Japanese trope. The idea is that you're kicking up a tatami mat swiftly to block attacks and projectiles. And fair enough, Pokemon can move that fast and tatami mats are light enough you could probably pull that off, but it's just super unlikely that it's gonna block much. Tatami mats are literally woven rice straw with a bit of wood to help form a frame. Neither of those two things are really gonna stop a high velocity bullet or razor sharp sword. So to be honest, this move is more like a ninja trope than it is a real ninja technique.
But you know, there is one ability in Greninja's repertoire you wouldn't think would be all that ninja, but is actually the most important core principle of what a shinobi needs to be capable of.
And what's that?
Extrasensory.
What? You mean that really vague psychic attack that has a chance to make a Pokemon flinch? You mean to say that ninja were freaking psychic?
In a word, yes, but not in the way you would think. A ninja needs to be able to do a lot of things. Be fast, be strong, be flexible, but the most important skill a ninja needs to develop is ultimate perception beyond the five senses, and that, by definition, is what extrasensory means. In their training, ninja developed a core sixth sense about their surroundings, feeling out the atmosphere not by their eyes or ears, but of what you might call a gut feeling. A great example of this is the Godan 5th degree Bujinkan ninjutsu test developed by Grandmaster Masaki Hatsumi, you know, that guy that we quoted earlier. In it, one student readies a shinai or another non-lethal striking weapon, while the test taker sits with their back facing them. The test is for the student sitting to be able to sense when the weapon is brought down upon them and roll out of the way. It's not at all easy, there's lots of failures, and there's a lot of skeptical people, but developing that sense is not at all impossible. And it's that power that gives ninja the inhuman edge we fantasize in movies, games, anime, and comics. So as it stands, I think Greninja is a fantastic ninja. Its design, name, and especially its moveset really do paint a pretty solid picture of what we understand ninja of old to be, even more so than other, more popular ninja in gaming. But thanks for watching, everyone. Like we mentioned before, be sure to check out our brand new store over on the Pixel Empire and use that checkout code Goombah to get 10% off your purchase. With demonetization becoming a bigger and bigger issue on this channel, grabbing one of these fantastic shirts would help us immeasurably, so go check it out. But the best thing you can do to keep this channel afloat is keep watching. The more of my videos you watch, the more new videos are going to show up in your inbox, and I'm not even close to running out of ideas yet. So I hope to keep seeing you around, and until next time everyone, this is Gaijin Goombah signing out.